Assalamu alaikum friends, you're watching Kaleidoscope and I'm Abdul Basit. Today I would like to dilate on Pakistan-Iran relations, especially in the context of a recent statement coming from Tehran alleging that Pakistan Air Force and Pakistan Army troops were involved in capturing of the Panjshir province. Then Tehran also allowed a demonstration recently in front of the Pakistan embassy in Tehran, and they were protesting against alleged Pakistan's involvement and supporting the Taliban. I found the statement because that also called for investigation into this allegation. I found the allegation very intriguing because Iran could not provide a shred of evidence to support its allegations against Pakistan. Then I think Iran should have been more careful because Pakistan has always tried to have a good relationship with Iran, and we all remember that in April 2015, during the Yemen conflict, how Pakistan Parliament, the resolution which was passed by the Pakistan Parliament, asked the government to stay neutral between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And that was despite the fact that our political, commercial, economic relations with Saudi Arabia, or for that matter UAE, are far, far more important than our relations with Iran, because there is no substance in this relationship. Then Iran should also remember how Pakistan helped in arresting the Jandallah leadership, which was being funded and supported by some countries. And then we also tried to mediate between Saudi Arabia and Iran, and we tried to be a bridge between the two. But on the other hand, Iran has not been very helpful, especially after the 1979 revolution. We have seen how Iran has been instrumental in promoting inter-sectarian violence in Pakistan, and not only in Pakistan, around the world. If you see in West Asia, in the Middle East, you will find Iran's hand in creating unrest in different countries. And then we have also seen Commander Kulbhushan Jadhav working in Chabahar. Thank God that finally we were able to arrest him in Balochistan. And then we hardly find any consistent, sustained support on the Kashmir dispute, though Iran's supreme leader did make a statement, and that is very much appreciated. But there is nothing beyond one or two statements from Tehran. And then such allegations, I for a moment thought that these allegations are coming from India, because and if you go through the Indian media, they have been making such noises about Pakistan's involvement in operation against the National Resistance Front in Panjshir. And it pains Pakistan, the people of Pakistan, and there was and people have been suggesting or asking the government as to why we haven't made any démarche with Iran, strongly protesting to Iran for making these allegations. But government obviously has its own way of thinking, and it perhaps thought that it would not be advisable to make such a protest. But I'm sure that our government must have spoken to Tehran. And if Iran had any problems, any fears, any apprehensions, it could have talked to us privately. We maintain our mission in Tehran. They do have their embassy in Islamabad. So there was no point. It can never be justified that why Iran had gone public with this far-fetched and idiotic allegations, I would say. So Pakistan, it is important for, while Pakistan does want a good relationship with Iran, it cannot be done unilaterally. If there are two countries involved, both need to work to nurture that relationship, to further strengthen that relationship. As it is said, it takes two to tango. So Pakistan cannot develop or strengthen its relations with Iran on its own. We also understand Taliban, Iran's anxiety vis-a-vis the Taliban, and it's not only Iran. Pakistan too has some issues, and we are trying to work out those issues with the Taliban government. But we can also appreciate Iran's ambivalence when it comes to the Hazara community in Afghanistan. But then we have seen how Iran has obliged India by allowing it to support and fund and develop the Chabahar port. And we know Indian objectives very well, because India always wanted, at least during the last 20 years, that Afghanistan's dependence on Pakistan for its transit trade be reduced, and Afghanistan should have an alternative. There is no harm. Pakistan is not against the Chabahar port, but that doesn't mean that Iran should start behaving like an adversary. We always considered Iran as a good neighborly, as a Muslim country. We are both members of the OIC, and there is so much Pakistan and Iran can do together in order to prosper together, to develop together. There is no reason for Iran to be, though we are a Sunni majority country, but it doesn't matter. When it comes to Pakistan, whether we are Sunni, we are Shia, we are united when it comes to Pakistan's national interests. And no matter what Iran does, there is simply no question it could create unrest in Pakistan. And frankly speaking, we have no problem with Iran, except that if such allegations are made in public, it only strengthens and makes those countries happy which do not want Pakistan and Iran relations to develop. So Iran needs to be more careful in future, and should be avoiding making such statements in public which are neither here nor there. I do not know what Iran has gained or wanted to gain by making such allegations. So let's hope that Iran would be more careful, more circumspect in future, and rather than making such unfounded allegations, would be focusing more on further enhancing, augmenting the bilateral relationship. Thank you very much.